Hi, welcome to my one moment happiness video. My one moment happiness video. And today's talk is on momentum. Now, the reason I call them one moment happiness videos is because they're always going to be longer than one moment, but sometimes it helps to motivate myself to do them when thinking, I'll just do it for one moment. There's so many things in life where we say, I'll just do it for a minute, or moment, 5 minutes. Hey, could you wait just a sec? And it's always longer than that. What is a sec anyway? Can somebody tell me? Is it really a second or is it something much more euphemistic than a second? I'll be just a minute. Now, there's a song I've always thought was great by a kind of a industrial hardcore band called Ministry. It's dark, it's dingy, it's rough, and it's called Just One Fix. Just One Fix. And I like it because there's a brutal irony in the way the song is made, where you know that just one fix isn't just one fix. If you think of the number of addicts out there who are somehow able to convince themselves time and again they're just going to have one last cigarette, one last beer, one last needle injection, and then they're going to quit. It's unbelievable. It's such a powerful thing to tell yourself. So I call this a one moment happiness video. I just came up with it. I used to call them 5-minute happiness videos. It seemed a little too random in a way. But it was predicated on the idea that when we set a tiny goal for ourselves, oftentimes we are motivated to do it and then surpass it. And then one moment means that when I do surpass it, it means I have momentum to have gotten me past that one moment. And momentum is something I'd like to talk with you about today. Notice, if you can, tune in to your ability to watch and listen to me. Just because this is what's happening right now. You can also notice and tune in and listen to and experience anything at all using your five senses. For example, there might be a slight distinct flavor in your mouth right now. I had coffee recently, so I'm tasting a little of that, I think. You might notice where your feet are, whether you're wearing shoes, socks, stockings, or whether you have bare feet, and what they're touching right now. You can notice where your butt is. If you're sitting down as I am, I can feel my butt, kind of get a shape of it, a sense of its shape through tactility. I'm also holding my phone with one hand, and I have my pinky underneath the phone to kind of stabilize it and balance it. And so I can feel that too. I think there's a form of meditation where you're just supposed to focus on the rims of your nostrils as the air inhales and exhales. There was another kind of guided imagery meditation thing I did many, many years ago, and I loved it. There was a guy with an accent who said, just focus on your body and the floor. So you're lying on the floor, and of course, you're noticing, feeling your body, then feeling the floor. Feeling your body, then feeling the floor. So anything that's actually happening, just see if you can notice how your senses are involved in it. It's pretty standard fare with people who get you into guided imagery and meditation and even hypnosis. As your awareness goes from place to place, just notice how your experience changes as you put your attention and your awareness to these various places. Maybe you could focus on how your ears feel. Just your ears. Can you feel them? If you didn't already know that you have ears, and aside from the sound of my voice coming in and reminding you, as far as your the curvature of your ears, your earlobes, the cartilage in your ears. Can you feel that you have ears? Is there any slight breeze blowing on them to remind you that you have ears? And notice if you can feel your eyebrows. Can you feel them? The hair coming out of your eyebrows or comprising your eyebrows would not have sensation inherently. The roots of those hairs would have be part of a sensation, I guess you could say, if they were to be plucked out, for example, or brushed against, right? Yeah. And maybe I've drifted off into a tangent or a digression when the intention of my video was momentum. But let's just put it this way. We're at almost 6 minutes on this video. So congratulations to both of us for having had the momentum to stay interested and to keep going. So anyway, now I've kind of brought us both into the present moment to some degree by noticing what's here and what's now. And we can continue to talk about momentum, how fascinating it really is. What are the things that we do regularly? For good or bad? What are things we spend our time on, we spend our mind on? Now, to some degree, the things that we don't want to have, but which may be chronic in our lives, and the things that we do want to have, they can both be considered good or bad, depending on the momentum that they have. For example, if we worried a lot or felt a lot of anxiety, and I've been feeling anxiety about what I'm going to do with my life, how I'm going to get money, how I'm going to get health insurance, where I'm going to live, how I'm going to live. Am I going to play it small, or can I start to really reinvent myself and make a much bigger kind of sense of myself in terms of my value, what amounts of money I can earn, and what I'm confident to spend my time on, such as artwork. But there's a dread that I've got to get out of this house. I've got to find work that's, I worked for 17 years for someone, and I didn't feel that much that I had a choice in the matter. It was something where I just really wanted to help him to live a good life, and there didn't seem to be anybody better stepping up to the plate. And it was really a matter of like, either I stayed in the job or he didn't have somebody to put him to bed that night or take him to the toilet, basic needs. So I stayed on. And I always wondered, like, what would happen if he died, and what would I do with my life? I thought, well, I want to go big somehow, and I'd like to be a success, and I don't necessarily want to be a caregiver as I was to him, but I'm looking at caregiving positions right now, and there's a little trepidation in that, well, I mean, am I going to be limiting myself to something? Am I going to play it small? Or am I going to grow? Am I going to be more of what I had intended to be? And to grow into what I have intended to be, which is an artist in multiple media or disciplines, would require a huge amount of momentum. So, to focus on the momentum that is enabling me to make this video, that keeps me talking, that keeps me getting words to say to you and to myself, is a powerful thing. It's an encouraging thing, because to notice that there is momentum, there's a stick-to-itiveness, there's a consistency, there's a continuity to anything in life that persists, is to begin to distill that momentum quality, that which persists, that which grows, and to distill it and imbue that very quality into the areas of life where momentum could be made very good use of. Imagine writing a novel and having not only the stick-to-itiveness, not only sort of anticipating hurdles and boredom and, sort of a mental brain fog and writer's block and all those things and persisting past those obstacles. Imagine having even more momentum than that so that you could envision writing the book, having it be fun to write, having it be engaging in the writing process at every step of the way. And not only that, but once you'd finish the book, enjoying the process of finding a publisher for it, of publishing it, of signing the contracts, of making the money, of going on the book tours, of shaking the hands and going on the interviews, and maybe making appearances at bookstores and greeting your legions of fans. Now, imagine if you had the momentum not only to do all that, but to have that be more and more fun. Maybe every time you completed that entire circuit with each subsequent book that you wrote, published, sold, won awards for, and then it got more and more fun every time you did it. Now, there are a lot of professional writers who may say that's not reality. Reality is you're going to suffer and you're a strain and you're a struggle. But I don't think that's true at all. I mean, we can tend to have a disrespect for things that are too easy. But then again, if you're dying and somebody throwing a lifeline down to you, and you were to deny that lifeline because it would be just too easy and that you want to live or survive or be rescued in a way that's more, you might say, appropriate to your high standards, well, you might just drown or something. Okay. And that there is a time and a place for ease and enjoyment. I mean, it's amazing how we can put a hamper on ourselves if something seems too easy that we can't respect it. But there are plenty of things in life that we wish were easier at the same time. Can we take something that seems too easy and put the ease elsewhere in our lives? Can we distill it, distinguish it, discern it? Can we take it like baby that we don't throw out with the bathwater, and we take it and we bring it to that area of our life where ease is requested, required, needed, useful? Can we do that with all the parts in our life? I think if we have the faith to do that, to look for the good quality in anything that's going wrong, and then to extract it from you might say, the disaster zone, and to rescue it and bring it to where it's most needed, then that is an amazing life. It may be just the skill of counting our blessings, noticing what we like in everything, what I like about you, and I thank you very much for watching this video. I mean, you're watching this video is much like, it's a gift to me. It could be very much like someone giving me a whole bunch of money. Or it could be you watching this video is very much analogous to 10 million people watching this video. Just the fact that you are watching it is analogous to 10 million people watching it. There is inherent good. There's inherent possibility brought out of this quality that if one person can, 10 million people can. And if you're having a good time watching this video, well, imagine if you had 100 times as good a time watching this video. Well, I think it's possible. And I could have 100 times as good a time making this video as I am right now. And that good time I'm having right now, the good time we're both having, to the extent we are having a good time on either side of this camera, is analogous to 100 times as good a time and more. And that would be something that momentum could carry us to having, is that 100-fold effect. Now, this is a moment happiness video. A moment, just a moment. I don't know what to call this. But in any case, moment seems pertinent to momentum, which is what it's about. It's a one moment happiness video. Yes, I like that. Think about this. One moment, one moment, one moment. There's always the continuous now, right? We're always sort of living in the now as now changes. And maybe there is a way of experiencing right now and the right now where we would most love to be. Let's say in a scenario of having succeeded in countless ways, having all the relationships we would love to have, all the money we would love to have, all the prowess, the skills, the abilities we would love to have, the emotions we would love to have, our way of looking at ourselves that would just be exquisite at whatever stage of life we are in, that we would choose to be exactly as we are now. That's the kind of effect we can have. And so I say one moment happiness videos, yes, where you might say to yourself, hey, I'm going to go check out Steve's video and I'm just going to watch for a moment just to see, kind of get a taste, maybe, and I can always stop it later. Or I might start the video to be produced and put onto YouTube where I'd say, okay, this could be a second long and that's good enough. I mean, there are plenty of very, very quick videos that are being put up, just several seconds long. That's one of the big mediums we have now with TikTok and some of these little vertical videos you'll see appearing on your feed with YouTube. Just a few seconds. And funny enough, you scroll through the news on Google News, or you look at videos on TikTok, or look at people's pages on Instagram, and all these kinds of things. And it's so instantaneous. It promises that it'll only take a moment, and yet momentum carries us well past that moment, time and time again. So I guess I'll ask you now, in the spirit of momentum, could you commit to doing something in a baby step kind of way? Just a tiny, tiny bit. And if you feel the least bit of a daunting feeling at the prospect of doing that thing you know is good for you, but you haven't gotten yourself to do, could you break it down to a tinier amount of time? Instead of doing it for 10 minutes, could you do it for 5? Could you do it for 1? Could you do it for just a few seconds? Could you do it for 1 second, 1 moment? 1 moment, 1 little foot in the door to get that momentum going. I haven't done push-ups in a while, so I think I'll get down and do a few or several or more. But it'll start with 1. And it'll start maybe by just kind of thinking about it, just thinking about how I could do just the very minimum to have a really good time with it. All right. Take care. I'll see you on the next video.